남자입니다. 네, 안녕하세요, 여러분들. Okay, let me try to get this camera angle a little bit more correct. Okay, this is good. And welcome to my weekly meditation, live streaming. Honestly, I've been doing this weekly meditation live streaming for the last 3 weeks, and I am actually quite surprised that there's quite a lot of views on those on those um on those sessions and those videos. Like, I don't know, but I'm just you're just looking at someone sitting there, pretty much doing nothing for hours. I don't know how that's getting so many views, but thank you guys for being interested to watch some dudes sitting there for a few hours doing nothing. Okay, welcome to a new week, and to me this has become something like weekend. Like, doing this reminds me that this is a weekend. People like to have constant talking in the background. I don't know, but I don't talk in the background when I do my live meditation streaming. If you watch my last week's streaming, really over 200 views, which is a lot. Okay, for my video lately, and honestly, I was just sitting there for hours doing absolutely nothing. I wasn't even moving, like not even an inch, and and so many people watched that. I mean, you guys have to tell me why it's so interesting. But okay, look, oh, the focus of this camera keeps going on and off. Okay, now hello, Leona, welcome. You're a big fan. Wow, thank you, thanks a lot, Leona. Right. So, um, what is this about? Okay, this story world meditation system, which you can find the link to the actual techniques and a lot of the explanations. Oh, New Zealand, hello. This is Istanbul. So you guys must be like evening time right now. This is afternoon right now. You see, all still bright out there. The whole aim of this meditation system, they are developed from Zen meditation systems and other Qigong systems that I've learned in China, in Japan, and other places in the world. Also taking from yoga as well. Um, it aims, see, I don't like to call this a meditation system, because these days when you talk about meditation, you imagine someone sitting there and closing the eyes and imagining all kinds of things. Okay, but it's not that. There are many different kinds of meditation, but right now when you talk about meditation, everybody seems to understand only one thing. Oh, Hokui, welcome. Okay, so the whole purpose of the Storyboard meditation system that I do every Saturday for you guys to watch. I do other meditation which I don't do in front of camera, but this is what I do for 2 or 3 hours straight. It's a mind training system that trains your mind to distance itself habitually from the story world. And yes, hopefully you're living 100% in the story world, because whatever you're talking about is the story world, and you're living all the stress, all the hatred, all the discrimination of the story world. But the real world is this. This sofa is my real world now. This wall here is my real world now. This floor here is my real world now. Where's the discrimination? Where's the bad governments? Where's the lousy laws? Where's COVID? Where's death? Where's nothing? The real world that is the reality that you're experiencing at the moment, this moment, the only real moment that exists ever, that can ever exist, is this real world. And in this real world, there's none of those stress factors that you see in your story world. But it is hard to distance yourself from the story world. You say, oh, it's easy to talk, but how do I distance myself from all this mess in the world and enter the peace? You know how? It can only be done if you train your brain to do so. My world now, hopefully, if you live 1 week of if you live my life over the past 1 year, you will have gone straight back to your parents' place. The last 1 year, I've been through so much hell. I was driven away from my own country. I was condemned by an entire country on the entire hate media, mothership.sg. I was condemned by the whole nation, driven out of Singapore. Because I'm driven out of Singapore, I find another country to go, so I come to Istanbul without any Four Seasons clothes. And this is a Four Seasons country. I came in winter. I was freezing to death and I have to buy everything new, spending more money. And you come here, now the next problem. What's your visa? Then you got to solve your visa problem. And then I get everything solved and then I start training hard for my Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I get crippled and handicapped. Right now, handicapped on the right and left shoulder, broken scapula, broken rotator cuff, which requires surgery. Okay, basically I can't even sleep on one side. No, I'm basically handicapped. Do you want to go through all these things that I went through, Okui? You only imagine that my world is better. No, nobody's world is better. But why do you see me live better? Because I train myself not to operate in the story world. All these are just stories to me now. I got whatever I've been through are just stories. Where are those things right now? No, they're not there. I train my brain to operate in the reality world. I operate, this is a training. Okay? So the thing is, if you do not train your brain to operate in the real world, then yes, you're just going to experience more and more problems, and even worse, you're going to take pride in those problems. You're going to feel so proud telling people about problems all the time. Did you guys ever see me talk about my problems on my live streams or my video? Never. To me, I don't care, and I don't even think about those things because I live in the real world of right now, not accumulated problems in the story world, which comprises of memories. Right? I don't know how to make it easier to understand, but do check out my video on story world and real world to get a better idea of what I'm saying, right? So this is every weekend I try to do a one stretch session, because if you do a one stretch session, the impact of the brain training stays with you longer throughout the week. You will find it a lot easier to distance yourself from the story world. In Limpei world, welcome. Oh, you made it. Welcome. Go, you made it. So if you do a one stretch throughout the week, you will find it easier to detach yourself from the story world. Okay, my story world is actually very bad. I have to consistently detach myself from my story world. And my story world includes the stock market. Okay, you guys try living your life through the stock market. The fact that I am still sane is because of all this training, all this mental training I give myself. Okay, so I'm gonna start for 2 hours, probably for 2 hours. I don't know. I need to set an alarm clock. Hold on, let me get my other phone to set an alarm clock. Now open the window a little bit more. Okay, the thing is, if I don't set an alarm clock, I'll go straight 5 hours, 6 hours. I don't even know the time. I'll just keep going until, I don't know, I won't even get hungry because I already eaten for the day. So I need to set an alarm clock. Hold on. Stopwatch, no timer. Okay, let's do a 2 hour stretch this time. In fact, just now, before I started this live stream, I already done a 2 hour stretch. So, when it comes to weekends, I spend most of my time meditating these days. One of the gurus that I learned a lot from, Sadhguru, what he said is very true. If you have nothing better to do, just sit. Instead of trying to intentionally find something to do, which what you're really just doing is feeding your compulsive behaviors, feeding your pain body, maybe even making some bad causes or whatever. Or we want to talk very practical. You're just forcing yourself to spend more money, watch Netflix or all this kind of thing, get unhealthy. Okay, you're just kind of like, if you have nothing serious to do and you're forcing yourself to just do something, you're basically just destroying yourself. Okay, you're spending more money, wasting your health, drinking all these things. What else can you do, right? So I think what you say is correct. Like when you really have nothing planned to do, nothing meaningful, just sit. What's the problem? And that's what you see me do on the weekend mostly these days. I just sit and meditate, right? Okay, so I won't go into the details of the system. So those of you who are interested to know what this meditation is about and how it's done, please refer to the link in the description below. I link the playlist where you can get the details of this system that I developed from Zen meditation, from samurai meditation. And so I just want to talk about some of the things. First of all, my system is completely different from what most people understand about meditation. Number one, for most so-called meditation, you need to be in a darkened surrounding. But in my system, you want as bright as possible. You want to turn on all the lights. Right now, I have all my lights turned on, even though it's bright daylight right now, 3 p.m. in Turkey. Okay, you want a very bright surrounding. Why? Because you are going to make use of the light to break the story world. When you find yourself lost in story world, you need to open your eyes to let a jolt of light. The light will hit you like a brick and jolt you out of the story world, and then you're back, and then you can continue from there. Okay. Secondly, unlike typical meditation systems where you want a quiet surrounding, in my system you want as noisy as possible. You want a lot of cars passing by, you want kids crying, you want dogs barking. Why? This is the real world, and we are using, actually this is stage 1 of the system. That's why I call it a system, because there are many stages. This is only sitting on the floor is stage 1, and in stage 1 we are using a Zen meditation system which uses sound to root us in the real world, in the reality of the present now. Okay, for those of you who understand spirituality, this is what we're actually doing. We're actually forcing our brain to operate in the now rather than go into the subconscious uncontrolled thinking, right? That's essentially what we're doing between the story world and the real world. But there are deeper implications. I'm not going to go into all that. I just want to keep it practical. Okay, keep it practical. So you want a noisy surrounding so that you can hear things. You want to hear things. Only when you are very, very good at this system that you can control your mind so well that you want a quiet surrounding to challenge yourself, because it becomes very hard. You have to be so focused in the real world to hear those small sounds. A little cricket here, a little cricket. So the time, if you're really good at this, you do this in the middle of the night where there's no sound, and then you have to force yourself to be able to hear a leaf drop to the ground. If you can hear that leaf drop to the ground in the middle of the night, then you would be very good in this system. Okay. Hi Teresa. And oh no, I don't have any. Pretty much, I live alone. I pretty much have no friends here. Okay, so hi Ben. Yeah, I know your mom's gonna scold you for watching Abing again. Okay, so in a nutshell, this is the setup for the meditation, and I'm gonna go straight into it now, right? After 2 hours of meditation, I will have a half an hour of question and answer and feedback. So right now is 3:10 in the afternoon in Istanbul. I'm gonna set my timer for 2 hours. After 2 hours, we will have another chit-chat session. Throughout the 2 hours, you will hear me describing my internal experience from time to time. I will describe what I hear, what I feel from time to time, not all the time, because I'm meditating as well. So from there, you can have a feel what I'm actually doing. So even though I look like I'm sitting there doing nothing, I'm actually doing a lot of things. And in fact, I'm more alive and more awake than if I'm not sitting there. Oh, right. So There's the coffee cup again. If you guys remember from last week. It's a rainy Istanbul afternoon today. So it's really good because rainy days, what else do you want to do except sleep? Right? Except sleep. Do some meditation. It's good. Thank you, Go. So those of you who wants to ask some more questions, join me half an hour later. All right. Oh, Ben, actually, this is a very interesting question. Now, the thing is, if you really apply the techniques that I gave you, that I described exactly, and you're good at the technique, the itch, numbness, pain, everything will not cause you to move at all. To you, you know there's an itch, you know there's a pain, you know your leg is numb and it's aching, but you will not actually respond to it at all. And you won't be bothered by it at all. You won't. If you are so good at this meditation system, you become able to differentiate what is just a sensation on your body and what you choose to do. You can choose not to respond. You can choose not to be a victim to that feeling. And once you reach that level, pretty much nothing else in this world will irritate you. Nobody can make you angry. Nobody can fuck you up, because now you understand the difference between what is just a feeling and your response. There is a split. For most people, the problem is their response and their feeling is combined together, and they are pretty much a victim of their feelings. You feel an itch, you must scratch. You feel irritated, you must fight back. You feel threatened, you must defend yourself. Like an animal. That's what an animal does, right? But once you are meditative enough, you start to see a split between what is a feeling or experience and what is your choice of reaction. You can choose not to react, or you can choose to react in a way that you want, not in a way that is hijacked by that feeling. And this you get through this meditation system. No, not out of body. On the contrary, it's not out of body, it's fully in the body, more fully in the body than when you are so-called awake. Okay, right now it's a lot of all these things is very hard to understand. If you Ben, if you really want to understand, take the next 2 hours while I'm meditating to go through the playlist and watch the videos there, so that you can understand. Because if you don't watch those two videos, you pretty much you don't understand what I'm doing or the theory behind what I'm doing. Okay, then after that, after I finish, then you'll be able to do. I think it's better to move the leg. No, the thing is, exactly, for most people who are untrained, your reactions are hijacked by your feelings. So when it hurts, it's not that you choose to move, you have no choice, you have to move because you're hijacked by it. It takes a certain level of practice and awareness to master that choice. Right now you think it's a choice, but let me challenge you. When the leg is hurting, okay, now tell yourself, I don't want to move it, and see if you have that choice. You will find that you actually do not have that choice. You're compulsively going to move it. Yeah, it's very hard to understand what I'm saying right now without first understanding a meditation system, and also I for those of you who don't know, I am samurai. It's not that I want to be samurai. I am samurai. That I didn't buy this from cosplay. These are given to me by my sensei. And I have my sword as well in Japan. So if you miss my whole episode of my life in Japan, how I became samurai, you can look it up again. Yeah, I am actual samurai, the only Singaporean samurai in the world. And so that's how I also learned the samurai meditations and samurai zen. For normal people, no, I get the cramps as well. But I can choose not to react to it. Okay, that's why Ben, like I said, it's not that I don't feel cramp or pain or itch. I do. I feel all of it, but I reach a state where I can choose not to react to it, and so therefore I don't. If you watch last week's video, for 2 hours, my leg didn't move 1 inch at all. Okay, in the middle of this whole thing, I know it has cramped and then gone, cramped and then gone a few times. And by the end of the meditation, my energy is flowing so well, there was no cramps at all. Yeah. So it's hard to just verbalize this experience. I encourage you to, if you're interested to experience all this, to visit the playlist, learn the technology, which is the technique, and then do it with me. Once you start doing it, a lot of the questions will answer themselves. Okay? So yeah, I'm gonna start the alarm clock. Oh, for those of you who wonder why I dress like this for meditation, because hakama here, this is samurai hakama. There is this thick a belt for sword here and a back panel. Okay, so this gives a lot very good waist and lower back support for very long periods of meditation. That's why Zen monks wear hakama when meditating, because this obi and hakama supports the waist and the lower back. Okay, that's why I like to wear this for long periods of meditation. Otherwise, for just 1 hour kind of to me 1 hour is very short. 1 hour kind of meditation, I wear just about anything I like. And if you wonder why I have the fan stuck in here, it's not just for aesthetics. It's to remind me of my posture. So if I subconsciously start to slouch, then see this thing digs in. So that reminds me to sit up, sit back up. Why should I sit straight? Actually, like I mentioned in the instructions video in the link in the description box below, you can actually do this from any posture. You can even do this lying down, but the problem is this: don't fall asleep. And honestly, I have not found a posture that is so stable that I can remain in that same posture for many hours without falling asleep or having to adjust myself. There's not a lot of posture that can do that. This is one. I even tried this. But this posture, I can only maintain like maybe 15 to 20 minutes, and then the muscle imbalance here is going to be too much, and then you have to adjust. And I tried doing lying down as well. I fall asleep. Okay, so to me, this is the best posture for very long hours of meditation, right? So, I like to start the meditation in Mokso, which is samurai meditation, which is to bring your awareness and energy all to this point in the navel. I like to start this way because it's a very aggressive way of collecting your consciousness and your awareness. For those of you in this posture and your mind is going all over the place, this is when you give yourself like 10 seconds and just tell your mind this: go on, think all you like. And your brain likes to do opposite of what you tell it to do. You will just quiet down. Once you feel that you're settling down, this is when you open your ears up 5,000%. Put all your attention into your ears and hear everything around you. I hear the computer cooling fan churning. I hear two men talking in the far distance. By doing so, your ears bring you into the real world. Whatever you're hearing right now is the real world. So now we're in the real world. How do you know that you're in the real world? You cannot lie to yourself, There is an objective feeling. When you are actually in the real world, immediately you will feel You see, that's why in this meditation system, you don't have to try to relax yourself. You don't have to imagine, relax, relax. No, you don't have to. You know why? When you open your ears enough and your senses come back from the story world into the real world, immediately starting from your forehead, you will feel a feeling of relaxation. You don't have to make it happen. You will happen on its own, spreading across the forehead, across your face, and down. It will just travel on itself, on its own. And when it travels to your stomach, you will feel a growl from the stomach down to your intestine. So actually something physical is happening within your body when you actually come into the real world. It's not a mental thing, it's a physical thing. So you feel from here, and then all the way down. So in this meditation system, you don't have to relax yourself deliberately, because once you take your brain away from the story world back to the real world, immediately the relaxation happens automatically. And it can happen even when you are doing stage 2 of this system, which is the walking meditation. While you're walking, you could feel it like flushing through your entire system. You actually feel from your stomach to your intestines like gas bubbles roaring downwards. So something is flushing through your body. Your ki is physically moving through your body when you come back from the story world into the real world. This is one, if you are into deep spiritual meditation practice, you will immediately recognize the benefit. Like you will immediately recognize this as a level achievement actually in terms of meditation. A lot of meditation systems aim for this, but they eventually become an imagination. You're imagining, relaxing your face, relaxing your throat. You're just imagining the relaxation in other systems because they could not bring you to this state the way you should. But this is the way it should happen, and you will get it in my system, where this cassette of relaxation, of ki moving from head down to your navel, is a very physical and automatic process. And it's a physical sensation. Because in order for your brain to continuously be in the story world, your ki or your prana needs to be on your pai hui. This is the pai hui point. Okay? Your prana needs, your ki needs to be here to stay in the story world. So the moment you detach the story world, it starts to sink down your central meridian and back down into your tenda no ichi or dantian in the navel. That's why you can feel a physical sensation of ki moving down and then manifesting as gas bubbles from your stomach into your intestine. It is a physical sensation, right? Now know that for the first half an hour of the meditation, your body and your mind are both fighting against you. Your body is complaining, here pain, there pain, here ache, there ache. Your mind is trying to tell you, hey, let's do something else. This is too boring. You still have 2 episodes of Squid Games to watch. Why are you doing just sitting here? Your body and your brain will fight you for the first 30 minutes. This is why I keep saying that a real meditation should be more than 30 minutes, unless you're doing other forms of meditation, like if you're doing an energy meditation, that was a different thing. But if you're doing a mindfulness meditation, this is a mindfulness meditation. The first 30 minutes, you're just fighting to be mindful. After that, I would say, after 30 minutes, you start to get into real mindfulness. And then you can maintain that for a few hours. So right now, I'm just focused on listening to everything around me, which is the real world. Listen to the real world. Touch the real world with your ears. Oh, I hear a bird just fluttered by. A raindrop. So the rain has stopped. I hear the raindrop from a tree, from a leaf. If you listen very carefully, you can hear the difference between when a drop of rain fall from a leaf or a rooftop. It sounds different. A car switching to a stop. So now by now you will see that what we are doing here is not a typical meditation. We are actually training our brain to listen to the real world and to inhibit the world. So we are not going inwards. Like in some meditation systems, we're not going inwards, but we are actively going outwards. We're actively expanding our senses, not contracting our senses, which is why you want a bright surrounding, you want a noisy surrounding, right? As I go deeper, you will also notice the timbre of my voice will change. The way I speak will change. I am feeling that sensation of the key traveling down right now. What I described to you guys just now, which is the sign that you have entered the real world from the story world. Right now, I'm still going through the fighting phase, where my body's not fighting me that much because I'm very used to this, but my brain is fighting me severely. All those things that we discussed just now, my brain is just fighting to keep playing those things, those conversations back again and again. This is the fighting stage where I have to be very aware to open my ears and focus on the real world rather than all that stories that we built over the past 1 hour. This is why in some meditation systems, the guru will make you not speak for one whole day in order to cleanse your story world. Two guys talking in the not so far distance. The cooling fan in my computer has shut down. I hear an ambulance in the very far distance. Someone got off the car. Car coming to a stop. Someone walking through some dead leaves. An ambulance in a very far distance. Someone coming up, closing the door of a van. All of these sounds are helping you get rooted and anchored in the real world. They are the real world, not the story in your head. That's the story world. You can hear the van starting up now. Yes, when you are aware enough, you can even tell what kind from the sound, if it's the door of a van or a car. The ambulance in the distance is getting closer. An aircraft just flew by. Someone sweeping dead leaves. Cars honking. Car passing by. The ambulance in the distance still going round and round. The ambulance really served to jolt you out of the story world. I can feel sensations of heat traveling up my back, spreading across my shoulders, continuing into my head. You want to hear everything and feel everything that is in the real world of now, the present moment. The ambulance has gone very, very far. I can hear a sound in the very far distance. The car screeching to a stop. Whenever you feel like you don't know what the sound is for the last few seconds, that's when you are in the story world. That is when you got to open your eyes, let the light around you jolt you out of the story world, shake your system. Look at everything around you, the real world that is around you. And then you'll feel again the ki traveling down, the relaxation spreading across the face and down to the stomach, to the intestine with a slight growling. Once you feel that, you're back in the real world, so then you can go ahead and close your eyes and continue. The danger in starting out in this system is for some people you may be lost in story world for a very long time even without you knowing. So you need to cultivate the self-awareness over time. Some people can sit for hours completely lost in the story world, while the body is nothing more than a zombie sitting there. It can happen. You need to be aware. It is those times where the ancient mystics refers to as the spirit leaving the body. Crow cowing. Two crows cowing. If you don't know what I'm doing, please take the time to refer to the link in the description. You may be wondering, how can you be talking and meditating at the same time? If you refer to the playlist, you will know that this is stage 1 of this system. As you go higher in the stage, you will be able to walk and meditate, eat and meditate, drink water and meditate, talk and work and talk and meditate, work and meditate, and therefore bring meditativeness into every aspect of your life. So it's not something you do for 2 hours just to feel relaxation. It is a training system for your brain to maintain this state of stress-free awareness into every aspect of everyday life. In fact, right now I could move and meditate if I want. That's the basis of Tai Chi. Meditation in movement, that's Tai Chi. So do not think that by meditation it means that you cannot move, you cannot talk. Then that is a dead meditation that will help you nothing in your real life. What we are doing is living meditation. Someone closing the door on my building 1 story up. The leaf of my building going down. Someone knocking on something in the distance. Car coming to a stop. Car honking. Someone walking upstairs. Crows cawing. A leaf dropping to the ground. Girl talking. Computer cooling fan turning very slowly. All these hand signs all have its own purpose, which I covered in the instruction video. Seagulls crowing. Raindrops falling from the roof. More seagulls. Rainy day is a really good day for this practice because you can hear the raindrops. A very noisy car passed by. Turkish rock music. Turkish dance music. More seagulls. Crows. Cars honking. Scooter honking. Scooter coming to a stop. A few crows cawing in the north far distance. Two ladies talking. Two guys talking in the far distance. They're passing by. Someone walking barefoot 2 stories up. Cars honking. Loud honking that best help you be rooted in the real world better. Seagulls in the far distance. Birds chirping in the far distance. Hear the exhaust fan and one of the families turning. Car's coming to a stop. Car coming to a stop. Computer hard disk churning. You have to use your mental focus and alertness to combat any feeling of sleepiness. Car coming to a stop. Honking. walking upstairs. A sudden change of pressure in the right side ear got blocked. Crawling sensations on the back of my skull. Elevator coming up. Raindrops falling from the roof. Someone doing carpentry work. Quran reading starts. Quran reading from at least three mosques together. Quran reading ended in the new mosque. Quran reading stopped. Quran reading in a very far mosque is still going on. It is a point where your body has fallen asleep but your sensors are 5,000% awake. You can tell from the breathing that your body is asleep. Car passing by. Crows cawing. Raindrop falling. Computer frame slowly churning. Birds chirping. clouds holding, the soft scent of flowers. Clouds coming. And now the cycle coming to a stop. People talking in the far distance. I can feel a growing pain in my left hip, but I'm choosing not to suffer it, not to react to it. The quieter the surrounding, the harder it gets. Now the evening is calm. Birds chirping. And sneezing. Dog barking. Party wagon passing by. of guys talking. People fooling fine churning up. Never closing his wardrobe. car coming to a stop, people chatting in the background. Birds chirping. Aeroplane passing by. And here you can enter samadhi if you can, if you want. calculator start. Cross crawling in the distance. The cool autumn breeze coming through the window. So you guys talking. another party event. Catch waiting. Computer hub is churning. Seagulls calling, children playing. Dog barking, dog crying. Seagulls calling. 2 hours alarm. Oh, I see. It's just 4 of you left after 2 hours, yeah? 림베 잘했다. 천천히 하세요. 고맙습니다. 왜 다 끝났어요? 이 2시간이나. 솔직히 더 길게 할 수 있는데, 근데 이 영상 찍기 위해서 2시간이나만 할 거야. 진짜 계속하면 막 3시간이나 이 알람 아니라면 뭐 3시간이나 5시간이나 할지도 몰라요. You can creative with by creating a story with the ambience alone. You get it. Yeah, exactly. Basically, as long as you are in the present, basically in the real world, you can make it however you like. I do it every day. Oh, fantastic color. Let's see. Great meditation. you're being of light. Oh, thank you, Carla. Thank you. Oh yeah, I know there are people who can read auras. I didn't know, Carla, you're one of them, and thank you so much for reading my aura. Doing 3 hours will be my new record. I can go 1.5 hours, but if I push it up, I can make it up to 2 hours. Yeah, actually, to me, right, beyond 2 hours to me is the best. Actually, I feel the most level of stability around the 2 hour mark. So around the time the alarm goes off. Oh, you actually read my aura too. Actually, depending on the time that you read my aura, it will be a little bit different because let me explain. Because towards the 2 hours mark, that's when I feel the most level of stability. So around after 1.5 hours to 2 hours, I actually change my meditation. I go from just the mindful story world meditation to around 2 hours time. Just before 2 hours, I will actually attempt to go into samadhi. I would, if you know what samadhi is, but I don't want to go deep in explanation for those who are not sure, but basically I try to go into a very deep state of meditation. Yeah, or there's no way to explain it in simple terms, but it's what a lot of monks do. So around the 2 hours mark, I attempt to enter samadhi. That's when you might see my aura change. But I gotta say, my attempts just now has been all unsuccessful. I was able to, if you know what I mean, I kind of licked samadhi for a split second, but I could not hold it. Yes. Oh, you know, yeah. So I managed to lick samadhi at least twice. When I was attempting samadhi. So twice I actually touched it, but I could not maintain or go deeper into the state. So I got to practice more. But during those times, you would see my aura probably change quite a lot because I was going in and out of a certain state. Of course, this doesn't matter for everyday practical things. For everyday practical purposes, just training our brain to reside in the real world or already help your everyday life tremendously. Well, but I'm so glad. I didn't know this about you, Elijah. I know you speak Korean, but I didn't know you know so much about meditation as well. Yeah, around 9-ish, it was a pink aura and shift. Yes, yes, you can tell. Whoa, yeah, that should be the time when I was attempting samadhi. Actually, in those states, my sense of time is very confused. So actually, I'm working back the time from the time that I hear the alarm. So the time I hear the alarm, I know it's 2 hours. So I work back my experience from that time to see when roughly, very roughly, when I attempted to do what, and there was a few state changes. I kind of like to experiment with this a little bit. Probably around the 1.5 hours or two hour ish mark, maybe. I'm not sure. But the first, I would say maybe because, like I say, in those states, sense of time is very jumbled up. But probably for the first 1.5 hours, I was 100% and fully listening to all the sounds and being in the real world. In fact, I could smell very distant smells a few times, so it was a very beautiful experience as well. And just doing this, um I could literally just tear myself away from the story world, and no stories affect me. It's a state of absolute bliss. And around probably the 1 hourish mark, actually I have this pain here in the left hip, very bad pain actually. But I was glad that at that point I shifted actually from real world awareness to this moment awareness. So by dissecting the time to just this smallest moment, I see it as merely a part of the isness and the presence of the now, a sensation that exists within the present time frame that didn't require me to react to or do anything. So I merely just sat through. Didn't cause me any disturbance, but it was actually a really bad pain. So yeah, you see. So yeah, what you're saying. Oh, but I usually don't like to talk about this kind of things because it's kind of like, oh, someone's being all spiritual and religious, and what has all these things got to do with real life problems and real life issues? Quite honestly, not much. Whether you get into samadhi or not, honestly, the world is the same. And when you exit samadhi, you still have to deal with the same things. And so to me, the greatest benefit of this is actually just the front part, where you train your brain to have the discipline and the awareness to stay in the real world and get away from the story world. This alone dramatically reduces your stress level in everyday life, allows you to a much lower cortisol level, so you have better health, anti-aging. You don't feel hungry all the time because your body is in a state of rest and not in because when you're in the story world, your body constantly fighting inside. You're not fighting physically, but all the fighting is done in your brain. You're going through the same arguments, the same fights, whether physical or not. It's all going in there. And as we know, whatever goes on in your head, the chemical changes happens in the body as well. Like when you look at a lemon, without eating the lemon, you're experiencing the chemical changes of eating a lemon already. So as long as you're in the story world and fighting those fights, whether physical fights or verbal fights or whatever problem, you are actually consistently fighting that fight non-stop within your body system. Your chemical composition is fighting all the time. And of course, as we all know, that causes cortisol, and and basically get things like chronic stress and all that kind of things, you know. So this is the practical benefit that you get from this if you practice this meditation. Don't bother about what I said, and you know, don't bother about my conversation with Carla or Elijah about auras and samadhi. That's not too real life, practical life relevant. So don't bother. Oh, it's fine to talk about things like that. Yeah. Great, great. Oh, thank you, Jetson. Every week I see the same few names actually. Really, very interesting. I try to keep cortisol. Oh yes, keep cortisol at a super minimum. That's the key to a happy life. you know, a lot of people don't understand this one scientific fact. You know, that everybody thinks stress causes cortisol, right? Which is only partly true, you know, because cortisol causes stress. You think your stress makes you produce cortisol, but it's actually you producing the cortisol that produces the stress feeling, if it makes sense. So eventually, it's not someone else or something else stressing you, you know, it's you stressing yourself. So, but the good news from here is this: since everything is happening within, there are technologies or basically techniques you can employ just to keep everything within your own control. And this meditation system is one of those things. 일라이자 지금 어디서 계신 거예요? 한국에 계신 거예요? 아직도 일라이자 어디 사람인지 모르겠어요. But really thank you Elijah, thank you Carla for being with me in this meditation session and actually reading my aura and giving me feedback on how my aura changes. So you guys really give me a lot of validation about what I'm doing and what I'm experiencing on the inside, that I'm not just imagining things. Oh yeah, America. Wow, we gotta heat up, man. We gotta heat up. Most likely after Turkey, after my visa expire in January, I'm going back to New York. 미국 어디서 계신 거예요? 혹시 한국 분이세요? I'm not imagining things. Thank you. 고맙습니다. 수고하셨습니다. But just now, my 2 attempts at samadhi was actually, it's not, okay, we can say that this way. It brought me into a very deep state of meditation. So as you see today, I actually had a lot of problems getting out of my meditative state when the alarm clock went off. Last week, if you check out last week, when the in fact last week, slightly before the alarm clock went off, like I think only 10 seconds before the alarm clock went off, my internal clock already told me it's two hours, and I got out of it like straight away, 10 seconds before the alarm clock actually rang. But today, even though the alarm went off, you see, I was very reluctant to get out of the state. It's not reluctant, it was very hard for me to get from so near the samadhi state back into the samsara state, which is actually took quite a bit of effort to get back. Connecticut. 그러셨군요. 한국 분이세요? Oh, Alma! Hi! It's been a long time! Hi! I really never know my doctor. Oh, gosh. I know how that feels. I hope you guys are doing well. I mean, it's nothing quite hurts as much as a dog dying. Yeah. I gotta be honest with you. I was kind of devastated when my dog died. I didn't feel as devastated, honestly, when one of my very close relative died. Very bad, very bad. In fact, when that very close relative died, I just felt like it's kind of like I felt more frustrated than anything. Like it's such a burden. I'm looking forward to watching and doing all. And start with stage one. Anyway, stage one is already out, which is the first video on what I was just doing, just sitting. That's stage one. If you can just do stage one, it will be more than enough. Actually, don't even have to go all the way to stage two, which is the walking stage or the eating stage. Stage four is the drinking stage. Actually, I find that a little bit harder. This thing goes up to stage 10, but I'm not too sure if I want to make the videos all the way to stage 10, because the way I've imagined it, any beyond stage 6 is gonna look and sound kind of ridiculous and not so useful for practical everyday purpose. Yeah. And I always tell people, I learn more from my dogs than my parents. My dogs taught me so much. In fact, your dog can teach you meditation. You see how much I aged just from 6 months of very intense professional sportsman life. In very intense workout just ages you like anything. The build up of cortisol is just crazy. Every day your body's fighting to repair itself. It's fighting against the pain, against sleepless nights and everything. Well, it's no joke. Just kind of like aged tremendously over the past 6 months. Oh yeah. She was sick a long time, and there's a relief that But just before she left, did you experience the second life? Did she experience second life? Like suddenly she just get up, run around, bark at everybody, greet everybody like she's perfectly healthy, before going back and lying back in bed and not waking up again. That was what my last dog did. It was a very enlightening moment for me to see that, because I see that parallel in my grandmother as well, just before she died. Then I realized that the spirit and soul of an animal is actually the same as us. Seems that you're trying to recover. Oh, of course, I'm always trying to recover my youth. I still plan to live 500 years, okay? I still plan to live 500 years, Elijah. So it's still in the books. I love and embrace life a lot. I want to live forever, because life is not stress free, okay? Life is stress every day, problem every day, but it's so beautiful. So much to explore externally, internally. Of course, since I'm talking to Elijah, which is someone who knows what I'm talking about, then you'll know actually there's nothing to experience on the external. Everything we experience are all internal, every single thing. Yeah. So it's a very amazing journey to be able to take this exploration within. And I don't think one lifetime is enough. I want to live for 500 years, 1,000 years, just to go deeper into this. You're the first person other than myself who said they want to live. 亲过 Zakung ya. There are so many people who can't bear to live 50 years, And then people who hear what we say, you know what they say? They say, oh, just because you're lucky to live a stress-free life, you're lucky to have a good life. No. If you want to check out everybody's story world is roughly the same. Everybody have roughly the same problems, money issues, real life issues, health issues, everything. Even I'm no Bill Gates, no, but even Bill Gates struggle with issues as well. You know, it's really, to me, and I think Elijah as well. We want to live 500 years because the journey inside, the big discovery, the journey to the center of the earth, this journey is in here, and it's so interesting a journey. And this journey takes a very long time. Such an amazing journey. Everything you can experience about life, so succinct, so deep, so deep, that every time you uncover one layer of your experience of life, right, suddenly you see the whole world different again, and then you have to start from zero to experience that level of freshness again, no? And then you have to keep digging more and more. You start to find yourself manifesting more and more very interesting abilities and capabilities. But as you manifest capabilities, right, then you start to understand why a lot of enlightened gurus and mystics today, right, they don't show their people keep saying, show us a miracle, show us a miracle. Even back in Jesus' time, everybody's asking Jesus to show a miracle. But Jesus said this one thing, which is, I think right now, every single enlightened being in the world today understood, is miracles do not save you. Ask not for a miracle, because it does nothing for your life. It only does things for the person who has the miracles. It adds on to how you experience life. It adds on to the variety of ways you can experience life. But it does nothing for anyone just watching like a clown. That's why nobody, even if when they start to manifest abilities, they don't show. Definitely they don't show. They don't even talk about it. I don't even talk about it. I do manifest minor abilities, so I don't talk about these kind of things. Dogs are so noble. Humans don't deserve to have this. To me, dogs deserve us as much as we deserve them. Yeah, both are deserving. Both are noble. Humans are noble as well. Yeah. I mean, like in the same way, bad dogs exist as well, and dogs that kill people exist as well. So, I think it's not so fair to say that dogs are noble and humans are not, but I think it's more fair to say that we deserve each other. Dogs and humans, we deserve each other. Yeah, that's why we get along with each other so well. He's around 15. Oh, wow. 15. Wow. 15 is a right old age. It's kind of like almost 100 in dog years, yeah? Oh, it's good. Okay, since I don't think there's anybody with any real questions. Okay, anybody with one last real question about what I just did on this live stream? If not, then I'll close today's session. Yeah, most bad dogs are because human treated them badly and trained. Yeah, and human behave badly because they are trained badly and treated badly as well. Especially our first two coaches, the mom and the dad. But anyways, let's not get there. Yeah. So after New York, you're planning? I don't know. I never plan anything. I let life just blow me around. I flow with life. In fact, right now I'm saying I'm going to New York, but who knows? It's not happened yet. In fact, just before I came to Turkey, I kept saying I'm supposed to spend time in Singapore, but did I? No. I just flow with life, so I don't know. So much for this. Thanks for this meditation training. No problem. I hope it helps people. Yeah. I'm a drifter. Tokyo Drift. Oh. Okay, thank you guys so much for joining the stream and being with me for this meditation session. Do join me again next Saturday, 3 p.m. Turkey time for my next meditation session. And join me next Friday morning, 11 a.m. Turkey time for my Limpe morning coffee chat. 안녕.